Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Mischief. Richie here, where I talk about my favorite thing in the entire world, cryptocurrency. That's right. Today we have a special guest on the channel, and we'll also be on Scott's channel at the same time. This is Scott, the investor. Welcome, Scott.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for having me, Richie.
Yeah, this is actually the first time me and Scott have ever done a live, I think.
Yeah, I think
Although,
so. First time on stream. We've gone back and forth with some different videos and stuff, but I don't know if we ever got a collab specifically. And thank you for letting me know about
yeah,
how to share the streams on both channels so it gets out to everybody. It's awesome.
yeah, it's great, huh? Like I just love it. Like just found this inside a StreamYard recently, and it's brilliant. Can
Yeah, it's
just
fantastic.
spread the news even further. So we're doing a stream today to talk about Arbitrum Land and also talk about Paca Finance. Because if you didn't know, Scott is one of the founders of Paca Finance. That's correct, yes.
Yep, Paca
Yeah,
Finance. We'll get a chance to chat a little bit about that and a little bit about Richie's protocol. So it was nice to just be able to throw this together and get through everything. But yeah, I'll explain any details for those of you who haven't heard about our platform, but also super
yeah,
interested in hearing about the next iteration of Arbitrum Land.
yeah. Cool. So we can fire into. We have some comments first, and we have Crypto Watcher. Hello, Crypto Watcher. Good evening. We have Mark Matthias. Hello. We have Mark. Hello, Mark. We have Cultify. He says first, but actually you were not first. Wow, there's lots of comments, but almost first.
Might have been first on
Crypto.
one of the channels, to be honest. Who knows? Because the
Yeah, could
comments
be.
are probably coming in from multiple things.
Yeah,
Interesting. This is
yeah.
cool.
It's also on Twitter as well. We're live on Twitter as well, so it's
That's
pretty cool.
awesome.
We have Crypto Pride, who also has a channel actually, so you might be
Yeah,
interested in
great
today's video.
channel.
Two projects to look into, and we have up the top. Actually, first was Mark, which is good.
It's awesome.
And unmade sugar. Yeah, so because we have two totally different protocols, my idea for the stream was we show off both protocols and then we talk a little bit about risk, basically, because there are two completely different styles of how to invest into DeFi, essentially. And me and Scott have been doing this for a long time, and we've tried out all kinds of platforms and all kinds of, some have worked, some haven't. It's some is high risk, some is medium risk, some is low risk. So we have a pretty good pool of experience and knowledge. Scott, I also understand you have a background in marketing, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I've actually done a lot of
Yeah.
things, a lot of real estate, a lot of marketing, a lot of different things. But yeah, one of my outside of the crypto world, I do a ton of marketing for a couple of e-commerce companies that I'm partner in. So a lot of my day to day, 50% of my day to day is just delving into different styles of marketing and different things to do. So it actually works pretty well over on this side. We've got a team that's of three. There's three of us. Unmade Sugar is one of them, and then Lee, who Cryptopian. He's also
Yeah.
on the team. We all have kind of a diverse skill set, so it's nice. I bring the kind of marketing style, and the other two they have their roles, and that's how we made this successful.
Yeah. Great team. Power team.
Yeah, thank you.
Power team. Yeah. So I guess first we could talk about Arbitrumland. I'll just get the screen up.
Yeah, let's do it. Pop it up.
Yeah. So if you go to arbitrumland.com, you'll find it here. So be kind. This is actually the first UI I made. And turns out UIs are quite tough.
They're hard, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. And over here we do have Paca Finance, which we'll be looking at later on as well, with your new redesigned site, which is
Yep.
about a month old now, I think, the redesign
Yep.
for
Yep.
Paca.
A little over a month.
Yeah. And I like the llama. Good choice.
Thank
Good
you.
choice.
Thank you. It's an alpaca. There are distinct
There we
distinct
go.
differences between the two. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll explain too. And when we get to it, I'll explain why we switched from 8-bit farm over to that, and I'll just give some
Okay.
of the
Cool.
background.
Yeah. So the way I designed this site was we took the creation, the changes to the minor contract that we did with Polygon Land, and we decided that it wasn't optimal enough. So we started tinkering a bit more. We actually wrapped up this contract about half a year ago, and I didn't like the site UI design. So I took it upon myself to learn how to redesign or how to design sites and build it myself,
Hmm.
which in the end took about 6 months, but we're there now. But now I know it's quite a power to have, so it's quite good in the end.
Definitely.
Um, the way it works is that the map objects can interact with the smart contract, and at the same time, the bottom function buttons can also interact with the contract, and they just bring up windows for different parts. this is on Arbitrum chain. So if you wanted to get to it, we could easily go to Arbitrum chain. Just I like to use Rubik. I don't know what's your favorite bridge, but this one's for me is always delivers. For example, you just go BNB and then go to Arbitrum. You can change, you can cross chain swap or send the same tokens and just go back and forth, and
Awesome.
works perfectly like that, which is cool. So once you have the ETH, then you just connect up in the top right button, just there, it will register. And the whole game is, of course, putting your Ethereum in, and the aim is to get out more Ethereum than you put in. We set this to max yield at 1% because, again, the big problem that we've seen with these style of ROI contracts is that on launch, the APR goes absolutely bananas, which of course is attractive for people because it means they can get crazy APR. But generally, the APR doesn't go to every player. It will only go to either people who have deposited more or people who have referred more will get the vast majority of the high APR from the contract. So we really didn't want to deal with that. So we just put a limiter on it so that it can't actually go above 1%, which
Gotcha.
also will give much more sustainability to it going forward.
Smart.
We did the same approach in Polygon Land, but we put it to 3%. That was the max, and it stuck on that 3% for good 2 months, I think. And that's 3% daily for 2 months is a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It is. So I like the 1% gives us a lot of time and a lot of room to continue to build pools around it and build other products around it to continue to give it that life that we want to give it. So if you click on the castle, it will bring you to the main dashboard, which is where you can deposit your Ethereum and also where you can see your kind of stats on what's happening. So this is, what's this account? Oh yeah, this is my main account. So you can see I put in, what's that, 0.7 ETH in here, and it builds up rewards. So then in rewards, I have the reward in nights and the rewards in dollar value of the nights. To deposit it's 0.03 minimum to deposit. So that's about $8, the minimum, and there's no maximum, and you just put in how much you want to put in and deposit. Above that, you find your referral link, which you can share and get quite a great referral system. It's a good amount of ETH you can get from it, but we also have put some limitations on it to make sure that it can't be abused because, again, referral systems can also destroy these dApps as well.
Definitely.
So we put in a lot of functions to control that. TVL so far, we're 1 week old today. Yeah, no, we launched last Monday. So in 1 week, we've got 13 ETH, which is great. Perfect start in my opinion. Not too big, not too small, just Goldilocks zone. And now the aim is just to keep building it up, building. When you deposit, at the moment there are some cooldowns, which I'll be reducing now that we're past the launch phase. I just put them quite high in the first week so that if there were any issues, then I knew that I had time to resolve the issues, but there were no issues, which is great. So there's an action cooldown for claiming, which is a 24-hour cooldown, but I'll be reducing that to half, I think, to about 12-hour. The deposit cooldown is half an hour at the moment. You also see if you've reached max payout, the max payout from this contract is 250%, which is max. But of course, if you compound, then you would increase your max payout. And your referral tier, which shows here. The more that people refer, the higher tier they get in the referrals. So you might notice from this that there's no compound button, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So we decided with this, we took it from Elephant Money Futures, which was a really great BUSD dApp on the Binance Smart Chain, which paid out for a long time. One of the things they did was they incentivized people to compound by having a fee on compound. So if you
like an additional deposit that had to be made, right?
Exactly right. So you have to make in Arbitrum, if you want to compound, you have to make an additional deposit where you would come to these dragons floating above the castle or the compound button. We set it pretty low because I think in Elephant Money it was 200 BUSD.
I think it was 200 BUSD.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the minimum was 200. So we put it 0.01, which is about $30. When you compound, your rewards will be, of course, compounded back into the contract. Your knights rewards, what's this, like 220,000, 230,000 knights would go into your total pool of knights, which you would find here under my knights. So this one here, just add to this. And also the compound fee is converted. It buys knights out. That's tax portal. Where we're going. Buys knights and sends them in as well. So it's not your fee isn't just disappearing. You're buying in as well. So it's an additional investment to compound the funds. So that's the first limit. Like, I wouldn't really call it a limitation. I would say it's a game theory that we added onto this, because I really liked how it worked in Elephant Money, because it did make people have a long-term investment mindset as opposed to the kind of short-term mindset that this kind of contract generally has.
100%.
Then to claim, you can come to the tax portal, which is over here, which would be this portal. And this will show your ETH that you can claim out. And then you just press claim. My cooldown's still running. It shows your ROI so far from investments. And then it will also show your tax tier. This is another addition we made to the contract, which is a tax tier and also a burn. The way it works is, so say here I have $60 to claim out. If I claimed, I wouldn't be taxed with the tax tiers. The tax is being applied to your staked balance, essentially. So as players get further ROI'd, so once someone hits 50% ROI, the tax begins, and they get 10% tax. So if I was claiming out $100, then you would notice you'd get your $100, but then on the Castle Arb page, your knights would go down by the value of $10. So
gotcha.
I took this one from a DApp called Pulse Drip. I'm not sure if you
I was in Pulse Drip
before. Yeah, so because that's still running, and it's mostly due to the fact that it has, I think it launched with that function actually. I really liked it because it just also means that if someone continues to claim endlessly, then they lose their position over time.
Yeah, it takes that out of their faucet. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I just compounded on it yesterday, so yeah, I'm still in it. It's still paying. I let it build up over time, and then I get a good claim. So yeah, it's definitely a good game theory.
Yeah, I think Pulse Strip will come back. Actually, I think if Pulse,
I think so too.
Back, it will.
Pulse had a nasty. Just the whole chain had a nasty 6 months, really. But I think it's going to come back around. Yeah,
for sure. And that's the second way in which we push people to have this long-term game theory style mindset. That okay, so if the way it works though is that to kind of break the system or game the system would be if you're coming to a tax tier, say you're 50% or 75%, you think I don't want to eat that tax. There are a couple of things you could do to avoid it. You could start compounding in, because as you compound, that would mean your ROI would reduce. Or you could just deposit fresh ETH into the contract, and that would also reduce your ROI. So you can play around and sit in a certain area and continue to never technically ROI on the dashboard, but actually ROI in reality.
Yeah, similar to what you did with Polygon Land. That was kind of a factor as well to be able to play with that.
Yeah, we only had one tax tier on that. So still to be seen. With Polygon Land, we added like an injection area with this. So it's 1% of the ETH that goes into Arbitrum Land will be sent to Polygon Land. So that's a way of giving it more injections, so that hopefully over time it will start to build. But we'll see. Awesome. Because in my opinion, this is a superior contract. And because I have control of the UI, that means that I can build more functions around it, which I'll be doing actually. Then the other thing, which is quite interesting, which we also built, is we wanted to reward our NFT holders in a special way, with this DApp. So that would be this collection here, our SCC DAO NFT. I believe you remember. You're in the DAO, yep. So you are. Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I'm in there.
Yeah, so we sold out of these just before the launch of Arbitrum Land, which was great. So now they're just trading on OpenSea, starting to see the volume pick up, which is nice. The way that we rewarded will reward our NFT holders is if someone owns an NFT, and they can come here to the Wizard's Tower. Now, I'm not quite finished with the design on this yet, so it doesn't really show much, but I'm hoping to make it more spectacular. But the way this works is if someone has the SCC NFT and they have claimed out enough ETH, they can start to buy potions. These potions can raise their yield by first 10%, and the largest yield they can buy is a 30% boost, which would raise it to 1.3% APR. When someone purchases the boost, the fee for the potion goes back into the TVL, and then therefore that player that has a permanent boost on their earning for the entirety of the contract. So again, a bit of game theory in it, that they have to first withdraw the amount of ETH that the boost costs. So they can't just initially straight away start the game, buy the boost, and then
And
start
just
trading out.
automatically get a higher percentage than everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Gotcha.
the first one we put at, the cost was 0.03, but we're running a bit of a discount. So there's 0.024 ETH for the first one. And then the second one at the moment is 0.08 ETH. These can be changed. If ETH goes crazy expensive, then we can, adjust as needed. Same as the compound, the minimum deposit, these kind of things. Oh, here's Lee. Yeah, so that's how they work as well. It's just another level of game theory that I wanted to add in. I was really trying to think of a way to find like a boosting yield, but in a way that wasn't going to make things unsustainable. So that was the idea we came up with. It was quite hard though. I'm going between Polygon to Arbitrum with NFTs because NFTs can't really handle, well, Solidity can't really handle cross-chain NFT communication. So
Yeah.
that was not fun.
Quite difficult. Yeah.
Quite difficult, yeah. And then finally, the other part of the DApp is the referral system, which is come to the referral dashboard I built this couple days ago. It's a little tree where you can start to populate people under you. You can start to see how much yield you're making from each wallet. So you can kind of zoom in with the tree and then see how much that person invested. And above it will show you how much referral reward you got from that person. The referral rewards from Arbitrum just go straight into the upline's wallet. So they don't go through the system, just go straight to their wallet. And we have the tier, and the tiers rise gradually as that person onboards more ETH. To show you, and this address, for example, this wallet, it put in 0.03 ETH, 0.003 ETH, and it invested once, right? We decided to cap the referral system to make it more sustainable so that any downline that deposits more than 3 times stops giving to their upline. Correct?
Gotcha.
Just to try and cap out. So for example, this wallet here, they deposit 4 times, which means I received referral rewards 3 times on this wallet, but after the third time, the fourth one did not come into, and it all went into the TVL. So that's the way we try to push the referral system. So in my opinion, most the time when you catch a referral, you'll get most of the rewards in the first 3 deposits anyway. Because they usually go test with a small one. Yeah. And then they'll
and then a couple bigger ones, and then they try to start playing the game. Yeah, exactly. Makes sense. Yeah. Clever.
Yeah. And then it starts to push the person, if they are, if they work in affiliate marketing or they're trying to catch referrals in this way, then they'll start to think, okay, I need to cast the net again. I need to catch some more. I need to grow my tree. These kind of things. So I'm still working on this part of it. I think there's other ways to gamify it, which, reward people who grow more, and probably start adding that into the referral system in the future at some point. That's the basics of how the contract all works together. Basically.
Love it. I got a few questions I'll rattle out to you. So sure. I love Arbitrum. The chain is awesome. The speed is awesome. The gas prices are fantastic. That's where I prefer to hold ETH, because it's just impossible to deal with ETH on the Ethereum chain. Why, outside of those factors, I guess, why did you choose Arbitrum to move over to?
We had it in the roadmap. Basically, we made Polygon Land, and then it was Arbitrum Land was next. So we got the branding done, and then we started the app, and I bought the website. But then, as I said, we finished
Was
finish
it
the
was it
contract.
strictly because there's so many eyes on it's just a different audience? There's like the Arbitrum chain. There's a bunch of people who are just diehard folks on that side, and you thought you'd bring in a different audience, going move into Arbitrum.
Kind of. You can
Yeah.
kind of see in the TVL as well, like the where would it be? That it'd be where like 2024. Yeah. So in the bull run height, they had like what's that, 220 billion inside Arbor. Oh no, that's
Yeah.
all of it. Sorry, bring it over here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So if we're in July now, we get to the year. Is this on a year? Don't think so. That's roughly
It's
a
the
year.
whole year. There you go. So 22
Yeah.
there is the peak. So it's higher now in July.
Yeah, so it's slowly growing. It was around about the time when Camelot came out, which I think is
Yeah,
still one of the biggest protocols. It's
it's a
kind of
bit.
come
Yeah,
down a bit.
it's
Yeah,
big.
number 6. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's Camelot, Uniswap, and Pendle was also gaining a lot of traction at that time. So that's why we made the decision to go with it. And then I bought the website, and we had the domain, and then we had all the branding. It was like, well, we're gonna have to do it. Should like in hindsight, also building on base chain is, a great one. Binance Smart Chain is also a great one. I
Sure.
really
Yeah.
think that with the idea of going on Arbitrum, it does just point straight towards ETH, and that's what we just want to aim directly at, is just how to stack ETH. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why. It also does give the option in the future, as we start building out the contract, it does give the option to start using the Pendle and Magpie um, and Camelot uh, yield in addition, that we could start building into the platform, which is something I've been playing around with since launch. Because I know not every investor likes the idea of locking up their capital permanently. Like this
True.
can actually put off some people. Where have you gone? You've disappeared. Where are you?
I'm off the screen, but I think
Yeah, you're gone.
it's,
I
I think
got
people can still
you.
see hear me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So this that kind of puts off some people. So I'm considering continuing to build out and making a non permanent staked aspect to this contract as well in the future, which I think would you know it's a different kind of investor that likes these kind of things. Also considering adding more gamblefy, so it's kind
Yeah,
of
for sure.
where to go. But that was the main reason for Arbitrumland, because it can tie quite nicely into the LSD, liquid staking derivatives and things. That's really
Definitely.
popular over there. Yeah. You have any other questions?
Yeah. So I do have a question about
Yeah.
as I'm jumping in here. So you'll put in your ETH and why a deposit cooldown of all things?
Oh, that was also a security for launch. I'm going to
Just so there's
reduce or
no
remove it.
just so there's no kind of bot activity that can game the
Yeah.
system. Yeah, makes
Exactly.
sense.
Had that before, long ago. One contract I was in, and somebody decided just to spam the deposits, and they crashed the site and clogged it, and they just got
Yeah,
awful. So
it's
it's
great.
also precautions.
Crazy how much you have to think about when you're creating this stuff about just because
Oh yeah,
you hope that the players are going to try to do it the right way, but you got to be real hesitant about creating any tokens. Or I mean, flash loans are a everyday thing these days, and so you really have to try to make sure that you're foolproofing the system.
yeah. I mean, it's a full-time job to try and exploit contracts, right?
Yeah.
And
People sit around and do it nonstop. Telegram. I mean, this is the wave of the future that we're in, and anyone's going to try to find ways to exploit it.
exactly. Yeah, that's very true.
So I'm gonna actually try to let me see here. Let me see, make sure my wallet's connected. Let me figure out how much. So obviously on Arbitrum, for those folks who don't know, Arbitrum's fantastic. Like I said, it's fast. ETH on
Yep,
Arbitrum is the gas. I'm assuming that's the same here. And
yep.
then we just put in the dollar amount. So I'm actually gonna let me give this a go. And
If you
okay,
find any
do
bugs, let me know.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna put in about $1,100 is what I got here. So we'll go that. We'll sign and do the ledger stuff.
Ledger is very important. Always rubber up.
Yeah, always have something to protect crypto. It's especially these days. I actually had a couple of people just in the last couple of days hit me up in my um, just in my DMs asking me, "Hey, I got scammed last year, and I'm getting into Paca, and
Mm,
I just want to make sure I'm totally safe. What do I do?" It's like Ledger, set up a new wallet, start from
yeah,
scratch. Okay, so I now have 3.948 million nights.
yeah.
Bumps
So
the
you,
TVL up to 13.5, which is solid.
and you just got in
Cool.
that perfect timing, actually, right? So what happens? We also launched an initial new game yesterday for the contract. It's called the Raffle. What happens is when anyone buys into Arbitrum Land, they get entered automatically into a raffle, which gives you a ticket, and the tickets are to win a prize pot of ETH. The longer we run the raffle, of course, and the more people investing into Arbitrum Land, then the larger the prize pot gets. So when you deposit it there, we have it here. The invested zero point 0.4 ETH got 158 tickets, and the prize pool raised. And then there's only 9 minutes left on that raffle, actually. So you might
Awesome.
win it.
So I got a chance to maybe win it. That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's just it was a little game I just built yesterday because I was thinking, just trying to find fun ways to make the community, enjoy
Yeah,
depositing, watching things, winning little prizes. It's the
you got
way
to
to go.
find ways to boost the community engagement and have everyone have fun with it, because there's always the next app coming out with some shiny object, and if people are having fun where they're at, then they tend to stay there and be loyal. And you've kind of built the
Yeah,
DApp in a way that it's really more of a long-term thinking mindset. It's not, because normally
yeah,
you'll look at a TVL and you'll say, oh, if there's not X dollar amount, I'm not even going to get it in, because it's an ROI DApp and your purpose is, I want the TVL to spike I want to get it as early as possible. I want it to spike as high as possible. And then I'm just going to
hmm,
drain my funds and try to get to ROI. So that's the
yeah,
mindset of most investors and game players out here. And so if you've completely changed and gamified the system and it's sustainable over time, and you add in all these metrics, then it
yeah,
actually makes it cool to play and be a part of the community.
yeah, exactly. That's the whole idea. And I like how the map element is something I really want to get kind of deeper into because it's a map. It means it's quite easy just to add new objects, new buildings, and new contracts on top, basically. So no stopping making a dungeon to the castle or make a bank, make a shop.
Yeah,
Lots of things we could just start building into it, which start to gamify the experience more. So that's a long-term vision for the
it's
contract.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well, now that I'm in, I'm going to be able to play around with this, and I may have some more questions for you later. I thought I had one or two more, but
yeah.
so explain real quick for me one more time the
Hmm.
when you're going to go boost your APR, you need to
Yeah,
use the system enough to be able to get to a certain percentage of ROI, and then that
yeah.
section is going to be available, right? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to make this clear. I might do tonight actually. So when it comes to buy boost, it will, if you hold over the top, it will give you a tooltip telling you why you can't buy the boost basically. This says, I have not claimed enough ETH yet to purchase the next boost, which is true because on my account, the boost, what was the price of the boost at the moment? 0.024. And I have not claimed out, oh no, what was it? 0. Yeah, I've not claimed out enough ETH to warrant that. So later on
Got
today, if I do claim here, then I can buy the potion. So that's for me. For other people, if for example, a lot of people will have the NFT, but they'll probably have gone in to the contract on a different wallet, right? So for
Sure.
that, then if someone has that issue, then the button will turn into a apply. The application will just send me a DM, and then I'll say, oh hey, okay, let's sort it out, and
Yeah.
then
Okay. Perfect.
we'll green
That
light,
makes
right?
that makes sense.
That was the easiest way I could find to do the cross-chain verification with NFT manually,
Yeah. Yeah.
essentially.
For sure.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I just approve in the contract. That's the best way. And I think that's the two that will stop it, and then it will highlight with the boost that you can buy. And once you buy it, then it will populate in the middle. It's not an NFT that you buy; it's just in the contract. You just get the proof that you have it.
Gotcha. Okay.
We didn't want to add more NFTs because it just confuses things even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The more complicated you make things, it just gets tougher on people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat, just so I don't hog the whole question asking deal.
Sure. We've got a who's who. We have Crypto Phil. Hello, Crypto Phil. How you doing? Crypto Phil's been active. Nikolai says my volume is a little low, but someone said that last time, but my microphone is maxed, so I'm not sure. Is my volume low?
My end, it sounds good, but I can't tell what my volume is, so
yeah,
I can't tell the difference between the two.
Nikolai, turn up your computer. Turn up your speakers. It's the best way. We have, who else we have? We have Lee talking to Phil. Okay, they're just talking. SEC and STI, great combo. What STI?
Yeah, that's just it's got the investor shortened. It's got the investor channel deal. Yeah.
Oh, that's good actually.
It's too long to spell all that out, so better just to abbreviate it.
Yeah. We're from
Danny's on. That's Danny.
Yeah.
Danny's on from across the world.
Yeah, in Australia. It's like 6 in the morning in Australia. No, it won't be 6 in the morning. It'll be bedtime anyway.
Something.
Should be sleeping time.
Yeah.
midnight, I guess. With Crypto Cat, who the boss. Super tired. Alakachian man.
So it's so that's Danny. It's 1:25 a.m. he says. Wow.
Okay.
That's plenty early.
Killer says slow and steady is best. Chasing most of the time, you crash and burn. Yeah, it's true. There's no point chasing. Chasing's for it's a timing game.
It's, chasing can be fun a little bit in the middle of a bull run when everything's popping and you're just having fun with some risk capital. But I think we've all gone through, the ringer over the last couple of years in during the bear market. So now I think everyone's kind of looking for stuff that's going to last. It's going to be there tomorrow when they wake up so they can play the game or compound in their DApp or whatever, just a little less stress. And so it'll be nice. But I think a lot of people are jumping on that train now.
Yeah, it's true. And I guess I was talking to who was I talking? I think it was Colin. I was talking about this, that a lot of the people who are in DeFi now, this is not their first cycle. They've already gone through the last bull and into the bear, then into the bull again. So generally the more simple contracts will be the ones that will attract people who are new into DeFi, and they'll think, wow, it's amazing, and then they'll go in and then they'll realize that it's highly exploitable and going to zero.
Yeah. It's gonna be a very interesting bull market. Like, so I got into crypto in 2016. That was the first time I bought a Bitcoin for $600, and so I was pretty pumped about it. And sold it for $1,200 because I was like, wow, 100% gains. I should have kept it. But yeah, so that's when I was buying and everything. So I got to go through that bull cycle and then a bear, and then the next one felt totally different, and then a bear, and then so this I think will be my third bull cycle. But it gets way different every time. It's considerably different every time. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to, and you get a lot more calm once you realize how it's going to work. The camera keeps redoing its own thing.
Yeah, it's true actually, because even this last bear market, there was a good 2-3 month section of airdrop fever.
Yeah,
it was airdrop everything was airdrop, and then now that it's kind of over and you look back on what did we make, how much time did we spend, and there was a lot of platforms where you spent a lot of time farming the airdrop, but then nothing actually appeared, and it turned out
nothing happened.
Project was farming us, basically.
Exactly. Airdrops in general kind of worry me, because if I get it, if I'm not tracking it like in its own specific wallet, and I'm not tracking it with precision, I just don't trust what ends up in my wallet, because you and I both know if you deal with a lot of stuff or farm a lot of places, I've got NFTs and I've won contests and I've got a million different tokens, and that stuff is nonstop, but I don't want to touch any of them, because as soon as you interact with those, you end up getting exploited. So the airdrops are scary for me personally.
It's also, for example, like today I decided to take an hour to try clean up some positions, and I
Yeah.
went into, where was I went to? I went to, was it Mode? Yeah, Mode. So I went in on this like 6 months ago, and I parked some ETH, a couple ETH actually, and I parked it into Mode, and the whole idea was park your ETH to get the airdrop, right? So I thought if I
Yeah.
put like, 1, 2, 3 ETH in here, then I'm going to get loads of money. So, I came back, checked, what did I get? $25.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, all right,
Yep.
wasting
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Same with Blast as well. Blast was a huge one with
Blast got really big. It got a lot of hype, and yeah, it didn't really
yeah,
seem to go anywhere.
a couple $100. I think a lot of people were in the hamster combat, which just
Yeah.
had their token listing, and it looks like a lot of
Hmm.
people were playing wildly on that. The tapping, and about $30 to $20 was the average
Yeah.
take for it. So it is tough. It is tough. A pretty good question here
Yep.
from NFT Investments, who asks, question for both of you: how long do you plan on Arbitrum Land and Paca Finance to last realistically? Okay. Well, we haven't talked about Paca yet, so I guess we can answer this question, then get into Paca Finance is a good way to do it. So for Arbitrum Land, it is high risk. It's a high risk contract. I'm not going to lie about that. Um, Technically, my aim for Arbitrum Land would be for it to continue being profitable for at least 1 year is my personal aim. If you know anything about me, my personal aim for our NFT collection was to airdrop every month for 1 year, which we just did last month. So it's kind of my passion, my drive is to kind of set these goals for myself so that I can do it. So we come to the stats for our NFTs. We've sent in 12 months, we sent $93,000 to our holders, which is 134,000 Matic. At these prices, a Matic is like 40 cents. I think the all-time high was $2. So in the bull might be more, hopefully. But
Yeah. Definitely.
so so with Arbitrum Land, it's kind of, I have the same mindset that this is the contract that we launched with, and now the game is over the next coming months and well weeks and months from launch is just to continue to add on value to it, which should give more attraction to different investors and different different styles of DeFi enthusiasts, and give it longer legs is my entire goal. So for me, I'd say a year, but for Paca is completely different. But I guess we
Yeah.
can actually start talking about Paca, and then
Yeah.
can
Totally
come back to
different.
the
We can get
question.
into it.
Yeah,
And I'd say for Arbitrum
yeah,
Land, you'll get the benefit of going into the bull run too. So as you can continue to build on your
yeah,
UI and everything, it gives you so much more access to make it last longer and give people what they need. So that's the joy of
yeah.
building in the DeFi space. Paca in general. So just to address the question, Paca is going to be able to run for years, but there will be a point where the market will begin to turn down,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be able to see that in advance. Been through a couple bull cycles when every single person is talking about how you got to get into this new NFTs things or whatever. Like
Yeah,
around the corner, 6 months, a year, things are going to take a nasty downturn. We'll be back in the next cycle. That's just generally how these things work. So, not a big
mm-hmm.
deal. All we will do, we will likely keep the whole protocol live. We're going to continue building on it. So it would be really weird for us to go, okay, we're just going to sunset it and kill it after doing all that work. What we will likely do is just change the APRs to something that's more reasonable over that time period. In the bear market, you're not going to make the same APRs as you are in a bull market. So all we'll do is we'll adjust accordingly to the market conditions. So hopefully that answers the question, but we don't plan on it going anywhere. It's 100% external revenue. So there's
Mm-hmm.
no real need to kill it. There may just be a need to go, okay, we're not going to make as much in 6 months as we are right now. We know that because the bull market's going to end. We need to lower the APRs, and so that future stakes can continue to pay out. So that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because
Um,
and for anyone watching who might not understand how Paca works, you said they're 100% external revenue. So, how would you define external revenue, firstly,
Okay. So here's
for anyone
basically
new?
how Paca works. And we originally started this as something called 8-bit farm. We're farming the money. That's where the revenue comes from, and we pay that back to investors. We built a DApp. We were just really having fun with it. It really took off and got a lot of traction. At some point, we decided, hey, the bull market's coming. The platform could be huge. Everyone's loving it. Let's make the contract cleaner and smoother, easier to use for people. Let's make the UI cleaner. Let's give it an updated look. We didn't really have any cool mascots or anything. It seems like most protocols that do really well have just an awesome mascot of some sort. So we went with the alpaca. Paca Finance. It's professionally allocated crypto assets is basically what we're doing. So it's just a fun platform. We rebranded. It's the same thing. We just wanted to make it better and smoother. And we decided it was the time to do it before the bull run took off. So bam, Paca Finance is what you're looking at here. Testimonials, video resources, and everything that Richie's showing there. But here's essentially what happens. It's an extremely easy to understand application. We use what's called concentrated liquidity pool farming to earn rewards. So investors come in, they say, okay, I've got a couple. You're going to have several pools to choose from. Right now, we have the USDT pool available on the Binance Smart Chain. Most of you folks that are watching this channel are familiar with Binance and have done transactions on it. It's not a crazy, it's not a crazy network or chain to work off of. Most of you have already interacted on it plenty. All you have to have is USDT. You put it in, and it will give you the stated rate, which is 0.33. That's our standard rate for a 250-day lockup. Now, some people say, oh, you're locking up our capital. That's frustrating. We can't guarantee you what's going to happen tomorrow for payouts. We can't guarantee you what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. What we need is the average of time to be able to average out those rates. Some days we're going to get paid fantastic. And there's some days we're making 2-3% on our farming positions. It's fantastic. I wish it was like that every day, but it's not. There's some days where we're losing or we'll break even in those positions. It's really about the average over time. So once investors deposit their USDT in, we take it, we bridge it to a series of pools that we're farming. Some of them are on Arbitrum, some of them are on SUI. We've got some stuff on Binance Smart Chain. What we're doing as a team is really just managing the position for you. So you can kind of set it and forget it, and we'll go in and do all the work. If you've ever done any type of concentrated liquidity pool farming, you realize it's kind of a pain in the ass. So it can be great, but the difficult dichotomy here is you want volatility because those up and down swings inside of those ranges are what pay you out the fees. But you don't want too much volatility because if it goes outside your ranges, then you're not getting paid anymore and you have to think about rearranging. Rearranging to the upside is never a huge deal. Rearranging to the downside kind of sucks because you have to take that impermanent loss. And we could talk for hours about impermanent loss and how these work. But just to sum it up, we're just managing these concentrated liquidity pools across several wallets, across several networks, and earning above what our liability is to pay out. So how this all came about is, we've all been through a lot of the same dApps. Richie, you and I have been in probably 90% of the same stuff at the time. Yeah. We started farming. We started noticing that these whale wallets, we started watching some of these whale wallets and noticing like these guys have just been farming through the whole bear market. They got $6 million in here and they just got these wide ranges and they're just letting it work. They don't want to sell the asset, but they want it to work for them while they have it. And they're making pretty decent money on those positions. So we said, okay, clearly the whales, so the big guys who made big money last cycle, they know what they're doing. How do we attack some of that? So we took a bunch of personal capital and dumped it in some farms and tried it out. Some were successful, some weren't. We really learned the skill and the art of concentrated liquidity pool farming. And what we realized is, okay, we can do really well on this. We can't offer an average more than 0.4% daily. So you'll never see our total average be more than that. We'll never run a promo for 0.6. We just can't maintain it. So in order for this to be fully functional and have no Ponzi-nomics or anything behind it, we had to be able to pick a range that we could do, and then pick a percentage, and then pick a time frame that we thought was necessary for us to be able to average it out. So we tried a few different things. We had some smaller time frame lockup periods with smaller percentages. Nobody really used them. People want the higher percentage, and people were confident enough in our abilities. We've been around for a few years on screen, showing our faces fully doxed, that they were fine with the 250-day lockup. So that's where everyone gravitated towards. So we killed the other ones. We left these in here, and people seem to really like it. But overall, the concept of the dApp is extremely simple. You park your capital, we go farm it, we scrape the fees, and we send them back to to the contract, sits on the contract. So when you go into claim or compound, you just continue to do that. So really simple process.
Yeah, and of course, after your stake period is over, your principal deposit in Paca comes back to you.
Yep. Yep.
Is
We
a big part of
have
this
to
protocol
lock
as
it
well.
up. We have to lock
Yeah.
it up because people pull on red days. Oh, either they're scared, so they want their money back,
Yeah.
or they see, hey, this is a major dip. We're going to buy it, right? We have to have a lockup period because those dip down days, we can't have everyone taking out and us needing to close a position and capturing that impermanent loss. It makes no sense to do that. We have to be able to ride out those down days and have the good
Yeah.
days. The best case scenario is when people deposit on the down days, and then we can buy the bottoms, and then our ranges are even cleaner. And so, there's certainly stuff to nitpick for every DApp about why you do and don't like something. We really try to find a happy medium on everything, and that was a reasonable lockup period, a reasonable daily rate that's not super degen, but way more than you're going to be able to get in a lot of other places. And then you get your initial capital back. We've got a compound claim. You can compound or claim as much as you want. Granted, the minimum claim amount is $25. Yeah. Minimum compound amount is $20.
Yeah, I've been actually, so before what I did initially was I sat and forgot it, and then came back to it, was like, oh, look, yield, and then claim. And then I was like, oh wait, there's a compound button. Then I realized this was what's this, about 2 months ago, roughly. Then I realized, oh, if I compound that, and then I came back, a couple of weeks later, I was like, wait a minute, I'm earning even faster than I was before. Because of compounding.
Yeah.
Like
it
the
builds
light
up
bulb
over
just went.
time. Yeah.
So now it's just, I let it get to about $30-$40 and then just compound right back in,
which is perfect. And
yeah.
So here's a question we get a lot that I want to make sure that I address. How can compounding be sustainable? And here's what everyone needs to understand. We're hyper compounding our positions daily. So when you're taking out, I can't compound. I need to make sure that I'm taking money out of the pools and putting it on the contract for you to claim. But if you're compounding, that money stays in the pools. So I'm compounding some of these positions 5-6 times a day. So, if I've got $1,000 built up, I'm re-putting it in the position. Depending on where it's at in the range, I may be adding a new range. I'm laddering stakes. So it's swimming in the middle of the ranges. And when I blow out the top of the other one, I rearrange it to the next deal. So like if you're hyper compounding on your end and you're wondering, man, how are they going to pay out this money? Trust me, we're all hyper compounding on our end, trying to get the bag to really blow up and be really large. Because, ultimately there's no fees on this pool and there won't be on the SwapX pool when it gets released. So there's no deposit fees. There's no withdrawal fees. There's no admin fees. There's no fees at all. How we make money is we have to make above what our daily liability is. So if our average is probably like 0.36 right now, because we run some 0.4 promos and our standard's like 0.33. If we're making 0.45 and our average is 0.36, then that 0.09 or whatever, that's our profit. So we have to outperform what our liability is. That's the only way we make money. And we feel like that's good and fair on this one. Future pools, they'll have a little, reasonable deposit withdrawal fees, but we really wanted to launch this one and the SwapX with no fees and just, kind of get people comfortable with DeFi again and let them know that there are some platforms that are actually have honest devs and all that. So that was the reasoning behind that.
Okay, good. One question which I was thinking about, but I don't think it's going to be a problem because I was into this day one, so I know how the investments went. But NFT Investment says, what happens when the first 250 day expires if everyone withdraws? Will it be sustainable? So
the answer is yes, because then we don't have any future liability. So if you have $10,000 and you take it out, I don't owe you 0.33 anymore. So we take it out of we have to close out the pools. So I'm hoping that, our hope, worst case scenario would be the 250 day mark comes and it's a bloody red day. It's horrible. And we have to close positions with an impermanent loss and then put that back on contract. That's the worst case scenario. It's still sustainable outside of it because we're well above profit. Our average has been really solid, just above like 0.5%. So over time, our bag's going to continue to grow. And hopefully by that point, in 100 days or something like that, when those unlock, we've got enough just in the treasury bag to pay out any outgoing anything. But we've designed a system to help to help with that. So part of the issue is for us, because we're all Web3, and when people go to claim, it comes directly off the contract, it's instant.
Hmm.
We don't know whether or not you're going to take out your 60,000 that's going to expire tomorrow. So what we've
Yeah.
done is we put a short time delay on all withdrawal stakes, and so it'll give us a 24-hour warning. So we'll know if if you've got a $50,000 position in there and you decide I need the money, I'm taking the full 50, or if you say, you know what, I'm going to take 25 back and put 25 in. We'll know 24 hours in advance. And so we'll know in the next 24 hours, you have to close some positions to put some money back on the contract, or he's compounding all of it back in. We don't need to pull it out of the positions. Because worst case scenario for us is we've got $200,000 in people that could take the money out. So we take it off the contract and it's not earning. We take it out of the farms. And then those people don't claim on day 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all out of town. They forget. And then they end up putting it back in. Like, we need the money in the farms working. So we just need to know a day in advance. Like, are you going to need it? Are you not? And so the claim button, which will be live once everyone actually has claims available to take out, which we've already had. So sorry to take us off track here, but we had originally a 50-day plan, 150-day plan, and 250-day plan. Not a lot of people use the first two, but all the 50-day plans already expired. We already paid all those people back. The 150-day plans end in 6 days. So that'll be live. So anybody who picked those shorter plans, those guys will start being able to take their capital back, and they'll have a choice of whether they want to keep some in or all of it or a little bit of it. There's a toggle for the percentages of whatever they feel like they'd like to do.
Oh,
And
that's good. Yeah.
yep. And then we have a time delay enough of about 24 hours to where before the bot will actually kick out that deposit, and then we'll know what's really liable or not. So no, for a very long story short, it's not a big deal if people want to take money off the contract at that point. We're already using that to earn. As soon as they take their money off, we now no longer have the liability to pay them. So it works. The math works correctly.
Yeah. And also from the beginning of this protocol, when it was 8-bit before it was rebranded to Paca, I remember the launch. It was a slow burn initially, and
Yeah.
then raise. At the moment, there's what, almost $3.5 million dollars
Yeah.
in this, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it
So
didn't
it's
happen
staggered
overnight.
very much. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
not, you'll see, I forget what we kind of got right out the gate. The first couple weeks, we got 50, 60,000 or something like that in
Yeah.
there. And then, just grew over time. So it won't be a 250-day hits. Everyone's stake unlocks, 2 million comes off the contract. It won't be like that. Everything will be staggered. And like I said, we've basically essentially built a back-end dashboard for us to be able to see, okay, what's due tomorrow? What are people claiming? What are they not? We've got plenty in the contract for the liability, or let's go look at our positions and maybe close some stuff out and move it over there. So it's the only
Yeah.
way we could do it responsibly, because it's our responsibility to give people their money back when their stake expires. But B, we also have to make sure that we're farming to the best of our abilities to be able to pay all the current investors their liability. So we can't have just money sitting on the contract not working for us. We got to have it. We got to have it doing its thing in the concentrated liquidity pool farms.
Yeah. And just to explain concentrate liquidity, for
Yeah.
example, Orca, so you could, in what Scott was saying there is, concentrate liquidity farming is not fun.
Yeah.
It is initially, and you're like, yeah, this is so much fun. Look at the yield coming in, right? But
Yeah.
after a while, it's not. uh, where's the one? I think on this, I was playing around with this today. I have a Solana and Bitcoin position in here, I believe. It's gone. What happened? Oh well, we'll just so it's it's tough. If you're experienced in it, then you can really get a lot of people want to go, for example, custom range. Can we make that bigger? No. Uh, want to go custom range with it, and they want to try squeeze these right hand ones so that the APR peaks, right? And then
Yeah.
you're in a tiny range, and then you're making higher and higher yields, but at the same time, as soon as the price goes up or down outside of your range, then that means your pair is no longer earning yield, and in the worst case scenario, the value of your pair is going down in dollar value, right?
Yeah.
And then you could come back to it a few days later and realize you've not just not made any yield, but you've also lost dollar value as well because you didn't um, yield farm with the right strategy. So
Yeah.
it's tricky. It's to
It's
be
very
a
tricky.
master, you know.
There's
So that
there's a
the
lot of stages to it, and we
yeah
don't give away our specific positions because people in the DeFi space, you share any of that.
yeah
We're not a copy trading service. People directly steal your ideas and go try to make a
yeah
carbon copy. And they also,
exactly
while the DApp may look good, they might not be near as honest, and so they're just doing their own thing. So we keep
yeah
we share screenshots and everything of the yield and some of the positions, but we don't share the exact ranges. But there's several stages to picking it. First off, you need to go pick tokens that have big market caps, big ones, because you'll see some
yeah
juicy APRs on some tokens that aren't very big. You can get 8% a day on 15% a day on this or that. The problem is those tokens end up losing value, and then once you fall out of range, you're stuck. So you have to pick stuff that has really high market caps, stuff you'd want to hold, even if it were to fall out of range. You'd say, hey, this is going to be really big in the bull run. Tokens like
yeah
that. First, you got to do that. You got to consider both sides of the pair. So in some instances, part of the pair is going to be a stable coin, like SUI's like a USDC SUI position, right? SUI
yeah
we
of
like.
course
There's a lot of good metrics behind it, but USDC also, of course, is fantastic. But that plays different than say something like a near BNB position, which near is the SUI like position, and then BNB is more of the stable side. But BNB can also go up or down in value, so it's not a stable coin. So that those types of pairings are played completely different because if you fall out of range to one side or the other, it means something completely different than when you're stuck in a stable coin or a coin that moves.
yeah
So anyway, then you have to consider your ranges, which means you need to go back and start to look at uh, highs and lows and historical highs and lows and the ranges you think it'll stay in, and do those ranges pay enough APR over time to be able to do it? Because those APRs are fluctuating based on volume. So if APRs are super high today and then the market's just flat for 5 days, you might make very little. Or sometimes you'll put your position in and you'll refresh it 30 seconds later and you're up $150. It's like, wow, like I wish it was like that all the time. So it's a very complicated game to play.
yeah like this a novice would come to turbos, for
Yeah.
example. They'd see
Mhm.
this one STD and Sway meme coin,
Yeah.
1300% APR, brilliant, right? But even from looking at this, with some knowledge, you realize that this liquidity here is way too low, with
Yeah.
only $60,000 worth of liquidity. What happens if three or four whales decide to pull their liquidity positions out of this pool, right? Means that not only is the APR going to collapse, but also the value of STD is going to go down, and because definitely they're going to be selling the meme coin,
Yeah.
and you're going to come back with a lower APR, and your position will have moved all 100% into STD token, and
Yeah.
you will have no sway. So then you'll have to pull it out, sell the STD back into sway at loss, and then
Yeah.
start farming again.
Yeah.
Which we've all it happens to us all.
Yeah.
That's the
We've
risk
all
of
done
yield
it.
farming.
We've all
Yeah,
thought there was going to be, yeah. So it takes a while to, I'd say, get good at it. You really have to do
yeah,
some testing. I think we end up getting a lot of folks that are like, hey, I'm farming, but I'll throw a little bit in here. And a lot
yeah,
of folks realize like, yeah, I'd probably rather just you do it because
yeah, exactly.
it's hard. And with positions the size that we have,
Yeah.
I've had days where I'm down $100,000 in LP value, but
Oh
the
my
next
God.
day 80 of that's back, and then it's up 20 the following day. Yeah, but you're watching it going okay. But you got to be confident in the pairings and the tokens or everything. And obviously, we're talking about
Yeah.
multi hundreds of $1,000s, close to $1 million on individual positions. So when those things move around or whatever, they swing wildly, and you just have to sit back and realize over time the averages are going to be there. Just stick to your strategy and everything. But yeah, it's good for those of you who want to get in. So we've been a protocol has been launched. I don't know how many months, for 5 months in, something like that. I don't actually know, something like
Yeah.
that. But a month and a half ago, I think, is when we launched the new UI. We did a little promo when we did that. I know that a lot of folks are probably new to the channel or new
Mm-hmm.
to the protocol for that are on your channel watching or whatever, haven't seen my content. So
Yeah, yeah, possibly.
I'll have the boys plug in a point 0.4 promo right now, and we'll run it for like
Oh,
24 hours. So if there's anybody who just wants to like test it out, throw a little money in and see, they'll get it at the promo rate. It'll be cooler than not. So we'll run a short little 24-hour point 0.4 promo or whatever for on behalf of Richie.
oh wow, I'll put that in the chat as well.
Cool.
See, because I'm sure some people, because a lot of people, we get so many people like in our chat as well. They just get burned on uh, LP farming. So it's definitely like you can see the proof is in the pudding from what I'm just displaying here, right? I've
Yeah.
held these positions, I've claimed out. Well, it would be good if it showed the claimed as well because
We're
that
going
would
to
be kind of
try to
yeah,
show some different metrics on here. Some
yeah,
part of the issue is that we're dealing with two different contracts. The old
okay,
the old contract and the new one. It's for whatever reason it's kind of tough to pull some of that information. So we can easily do it with the new contract, but then it wouldn't see the old stuff, and then people say,
yeah,
"Well, no, I've claimed more of that." So we're trying to get all that sorted out. But all that stuff and additional analytics are on the roadmap.
cool.
Plus some additional pools. We've had games that we've done in the past that we may just redo on here with a fresh skin and have it be nice. There's a few things that we're going to do to make it better, but more analytics is definitely part of it.
What's your opinion on SwapX? When do you think it's going to launch?
You know, I don't know. I know for sure XLayer, if you read through the chats and forums and everything, XLayer's just got some issues. Also,
Yeah,
also from a regulatory standpoint, I don't know why some of these governments just hate crypto. So
yeah,
I'm not really sure exactly how that'll work. I know that the team is awesome, as we know. All the people on the team are awesome. I know they're super honest, so I know that they're doing everything they can to try to figure out a way to get that up and live. But could definitely help. We've been wanting to really integrate that. We're obviously friends and fans of all those guys and what they're attempting to create. So
yeah.
we'd like to integrate that here to just support the platform and pay a nice percentage and give people the ability to be able to kind of set it and forget it in the same way, and that we could help pump the token. So I wish I knew, to be honest.
Yeah.
Uh,
It will be,
wish I
I
knew.
guess, because I was thinking about this earlier as well. Like, of course, USDT or any stablecoin is perfect for this kind of model because you're dollar in, dollar out, right?
Yeah,
Um, with a token like SwapX, it could potentially go two ways, right?
yeah.
It could moonshot, like for example, Equalizer would be a. I think Equalizer is a pretty good comparison to what SwapX could do, which is the token for Equal, which is Phantom and I think it's Phantom and Base Chain, but Base Chain has
Hmm.
scale. But this on launch just went from $1 to 13, back to 80 cents, and then
Yeah.
to $22, right?
I
It's
mean, those
just
are wild
insane.
swings. People make
Yeah,
millions in those swings.
yeah, and
That's part of, I think that's part of the reason why we want both, because we do
yeah,
want to
yeah,
offer people the opportunity to like have these crazy moon bags. Um,
yeah.
the nice thing about this, and like even like my dad's got 100K in our protocol. You know what I mean? He just dumped it in here
That's
because it's
awesome.
set it, forget it, and he just knows like, hey, it's going to be there when I'm ready to get it back, and it's just a normal payment. He pays his bills, he does a little bit of compounding, and that's it. It's smooth. That it's a nice, safer route to go in crypto. Now,
Yeah,
but you're never going to wake up more than doubling your investment in 250 days. You're never going to wake
hmm,
up and be like, oh my gosh, this just mooned. So
yeah,
we would
yeah,
like to give people the opportunity to be in a token that also, as they're getting their gains and they're compounding everything in, something goes wild and they can make tremendous amounts of money. I think it's important for us to offer a little bit of both on the platform, just so people can have fun with it.
yeah.
Because what will happen inevitably is, as the bull market starts to take off and people just get super pumped about everything, they're going to start to go they're going to start to see all the posts on Instagram and Facebook and every other
Hmm,
platform, TikTok, everywhere, of so and so making 1,000x on this or that, and they're going to go, I'm only doubling my money over here. You know what I mean? And that's
yeah.
inevitably people will try to go somewhere else. So we'd like to pick some cool stuff that we think is actually really going to boom. And we've got some stuff coming. Just drop some alpha. We've got some stuff coming
Oh,
that will be
really?
live, another pool that'll be live on here within the next couple of weeks that we think will be a juicy one. So
Fantastic,
that'll be good. Yeah.
fantastic. Good. I'll be interested to see what token you've chosen then, or what
Yep.
what chain, what token, what protocol. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
good
tell you
news.
offline.
Nice. I won't tell anyone, I promise.
Yeah, sounds good.
Pinky swear.
Sounds good. Fair enough.
Cool. Well, we've been live for over an hour, so I guess it's time we should wrap up. But this is this is Paca Finance, right? And it is I can't even say hidden gem because there's $3.4 million in here, you know. So it is a growing and becoming a large, large platform on the Binance Smart Chain. Try find other protocols in Binance Smart Chain with over $3 million in it, and you might find a tough time, right? Especially for 5 months, 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So it is becoming one of the most well-established platforms on Binance Smart Chain. So congratulations first,
Thank
this
you.
is
Really
exactly
appreciate
what,
it.
you know, it's
Yep.
exactly
Got to
what I could tell watching your videos. It's like you wanted something like this and you just couldn't find it, right?
Yeah, we couldn't
You know,
find it, and
yeah,
the team, shout out to Lee and Keith, both obviously integral
yeah,
parts of the team. I just talk about it. That's my role. I just get it out there, but they do a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and we do a lot of. I mean, yeah, it took a while to get it down, but thank you for the accolades, because it's super nice to.
yeah, man.
It got a little more
Break through.
traction even than we thought it was going to, but we think it can be big, and so we want to make sure that if we're doing it, we're just doing it the cleanest, best way possible for people, so it's something they can actually enjoy.
Nice. Well, yep. So that is Paca.finance and Arbitrum.com. And don't forget, so if you watch to the end first, well done. You deserve a medal. But instead of a medal, if you go to Paca Finance right now, you will find it's already just been changed. You
Yeah,
spoke
it's
and it
changed.
happened. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Exactly.
Unbelievable. Look at the power
Yep.
you hold.
Yep. That's right. Now I messaged Keith real quick. I said, quickly change the promo. I'm doing a promo.
So Keith does the UI work, right?
Yeah. So Keith,
Nice.
so we hired a really awesome designer to do to build some of this stuff for us and give us the template, and then Keith puts it all into play. So he's the dev behind the scenes, and then we all do, I don't know, a lot of different stuff. I'm the most OCD, so I have
Yeah.
Keith literally move that 2 pixels to the left. No, one less, 2 up. So we're doing that all the time. We're trying to make stuff as good as possible and as clean as possible for people, but that's the game.
You need someone always. One of the most important team members is the OCD one, though.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because
I'm important. Yes. Fantastic.
I'm important. So now that
Love
that's
it.
there, actually, I'm just going to quickly. I got some USD. Yeah. Okay. Right. So the way it works, let's just do a quick. Okay. The way it works. So you go to create stake, then you take your dollars, and you decide what you want to put in. You can also put in a ref address. I don't know whose this one is, but they're going to be my one. So you can choose if you want to or not, I think is how it works. And then you come
You
to
may have to put the decimals in. I'm not sure if we fix that or not. The 0.00 on this on the change. I'm not
do it just
sure.
in case.
It's finicky. It says it down below. I'm not sure if we fixed it or not. But anyway, so that'll give you
Yeah,
your
it does say it
ROI
down
right
below.
there.
Yeah, and the ROI is 800 from the 0.4 for 250 days. Average estimated rewards. These aren't fixed though, right? Because these could move or they are fixed.
No, once you lock your stake in, that's fixed. So that's exactly
Okay,
what you'll earn every 24 hours.
cool.
Yep.
Then,
Yep.
of course, you have to acknowledge the risks. If you want to know the full risk, they do have an FAQ section on this site as well that you can check out. And then you just create the stake. And therefore, usually I always like to, don't go overboard with your spending cap because, it's crypto, high risk. You just approve. I always just approve that one always comes up. That should be it done. Approving. Yeah, we're approving. Then once you've approved your spending cap, you will get another contract, another one that should pop up to deposit, I think. Or did I just break your site?
It should pop up.
Should pop
It
up.
should pop
Let's
up. Those spending cap. Yeah, you might try that again. See if it pops that up. Anytime you adjust the spending cap, it's tricky. Oh, there you go. You got a couple of still using MetaMask?
You're like the fifth person who said that to me.
That's funny.
Even Phantom Foundation, they're moving to Sonic, right?
Yeah.
And they said to me, they said the same thing today. They're like, our favorite wallet ever, Rabby. It's like, for God's sake.
It takes a lot of the guesswork out of everything. It is super smooth. So
okay, cool. Yeah, that's it.
like
Creating stake, and the stake will pop up in your. Yeah,
there
it is. And there we go.
There you
Boom,
go.
down there, and then
nice.
And then we're in. See, and
it's in there. You got the 0.4. Status
point of
button will go gray when you've hit your 250 days, and then that button under the compound right there that shows like a little ATM machine,
Yeah.
like $1 coming out. You'll click that button and you'll decide how much you want to take out when the time comes.
Oh,
So,
that's the catch up button. Okay, cool.
yep,
Actually, so my actual plan with Paca is I'm going to be suicide compounding this until the yield matches, what I expect to get from the yield, and then I will never have to close my stakes. As soon as the stake ends, I can just restake it.
yeah,
Essentially, is
yep.
my plan with this protocol.
Then
Because
it becomes the infinite money printer. It's your all in profit,
exactly,
and then yep,
yeah. Because always invest in teams, invest in the people behind the projects is one of the most important advice that you can give to anyone new to crypto. It's
absolutely,
because you can believe in them.
absolutely.
So,
And
okay, cool.
same with you. It's like your
Yeah,
protocols. I get into everything you do basically, just because I know no matter what, even if you've got some hiccups, you'll figure out a way to make it right or shift this or that. I mean, it's just
yeah.
dealing with honest teams and honest people. It's hard to find in the space, and once you get them, you just stick to anything they do. I jump in.
Yeah, and that's it. Things can go wrong, but then when things go wrong and you turn to the person to say what happened, the last thing you want is, hey, where'd they go?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yep.
and the best thing you can find is our developers who don't disappear. They in good times and bad, they
Yep.
are there and they're
They
trying to
stay,
in
they
the trenches.
iterate, and just try to
Yeah,
do their best, because ultimately we want a better DeFi space. And I think
yeah.
it's going to be real fun for the folks that have been around for a while and know all the people that are honest. It's going to be real fun to actually have a bull market and watch everyone make
Oh
money,
yeah,
because we've all lost plenty. And so it's going to be nice to watch everyone make money this next cycle.
that'll be really great actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
fantastic.
to have a party. Cool. Okay, well, Scott, thanks very much for coming on the channel, and thank you for dual streaming on your channel as well. That was great,
Yeah, absolutely.
and we'll have to do it again sometime.
Thanks, buddy.
Definitely. Cool.
Appreciate you guys.
Uh, and bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye bye.